Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. You know, I was waiting for a video from anybody on this news report that I saw yesterday morning, and no one's made one, so I guess it's going to drop in my lap because I just don't want to let it slip by without making at least a small notation about it. In Spain, the air traffic controllers went on strike. Now, that happened in the United States in 1981 under President Reagan, and what he did basically was toss the union out. He fired them all, and he tossed the union out the door. Because basically they were using union leverage to hijack the system. They knew that people needed to fly. They knew they were in a high-pressure situation, and when they were ordered to go back to work while negotiations were going on, they refused to do so, and that was it. They got fired. In Spain, they took a different tact, and that different tact is kind of alarming. Well, I don't know if alarming is the right word, but what they did was they militarized it. They took the airports over with the Spanish military and forced all of the air traffic controllers to go back to work. Now, there's a whole lot in this story that I think we as Americans need to pay attention to, because this is the road we're on, people. This is exactly the road we're on. Air traffic controllers in that country right now make about $430,000 a year. That is an outrageous amount of money, especially in a country where the average income is, I think, $26,500-ish. And they're making $430,000 a year. And what they decided to strike over was, of course, they wanted more money. They wanted more benefits because, $430,000 a year and the ridiculous benefits aren't enough. The government looked into it a little bit, and they realized, I think it was the airports that looked into it, and these union workers, the air traffic controllers, were actually charging their exorbitant, they get triple time there for overtime, not double time, they get triple time. And the socialist country actually had to look into it because the money going out the door was just so damn outrageous. And what they found was these guys were actually charging, as clocking in on the clock as if they were working at union meetings. This is the road we're on, people. When you allow unions to so completely take over the system. I know sometimes I come across as extremely anti-union, and I am absolutely anti-union in its current carnation. I think unions served a hell of a purpose when they were first put in. I think unions helped change a lot in not only this country but around the world. However, I think a long time ago unions were obsolete, and they had the choice to either become a self-perpetuating monster or go away. And there was far too much money and far too much power for them to just go away. So what they did was they turned into what the beasts that they are today. Look, it's late, and I wasn't planning on making a video, so I hope that I'm getting this across clearly. I don't know that I am. The Spanish government took over the airports with military threat. They deployed their military against their own citizens and took over the airports because it was the only option against the unions in a socialist country that were so damn powerful that they not only shut down the entire airline industry in Spain, they affected the airline industry across the entirety of Europe, and they knew they were doing it. Now, this for them is a holiday week, much like our Thanksgiving. Over there in Europe, it's, in Spain particularly, it's a holiday, and it's one of their most traveled times of the year. So they chose their time to strike intentionally. What you have here is a cascade of examples of the failure of socialism, the failures of allowing unions to run out of control, and a prime example of what happens when a government that is hijacked by unions completely feels it has no choice because it's now being crushed between the people who are saying, we can't afford to pay this anymore. We make 26 grand a year. You can't keep taxing us more and more and more. We can barely live. The common man that the unions are claiming to help. That's what it's really about. The poor common man, right? The guys you're crushing. The guys who can barely live. They can barely exist because of you. But you're helping them. It's really about them. It's not about your own power or your own money, right? Remember, I made a video a couple of months ago. Michelle Obama took a vacation. And I said it was very important where she took her vacation. That video is still up if you guys want to go dig it up. I think I called it Connecting the Dots. So, well, she took her vacation to Spain, and she took, what was it, 3 dozen friends with her on her vacation. Yet every shot of her showed her and her kids alone with the Secret Service security. So where were the 3 dozen people? Who were they talking to? What were they doing? What meetings were they in? And now the most recent big stink from government trying to take our rights away in this country, our airline, TSA. So I'm not going to connect these dots because I don't know that they connect properly. But what I do know is the airline industry is problematic in this country because of the government. The government is not the solution, people. The government is the damn problem. So the airline industry in the United States is having a big problem. And now the example of the government threatening military force against its own citizens from Spain, who this administration has kind of vociferously touted as the golden example of green energy. These guys, who are so in debt that their people are rioting in the damn streets. You know, there was riots last week in California, where was it, UCLA, over tuition increases. I don't know that these dots connect yet, but what I'm seeing is a pretty clear, at least outline of a pattern. All the ones that are rioting in Europe are 2 groups. The unions, who have been told we can't afford you anymore, and the students have been told we can't afford to give you a free ride anymore. So basically, the 2 groups that are sucking the most out of the system are the ones that are rioting because somebody took the free bread away. You take somebody's free meal ticket away and they're going to get violent and try to defend it. Now, the similar thing has happened at UCLA Berkeley. Now, you know, I've said a couple of times that the reason that there aren't riots in the United States is because we have guns. And those riots, I think, would turn out rather differently. It's funny to me that the riots that did decide to take place in the U.S. are in the state that has, I don't know if they have the absolute worst gun laws, worst as in the most gun control, but another pretty damn bad. So, again, dots are connecting, parallels. I don't know. I didn't see anybody else talking about this. I looked around. I even went and looked around some videos of channels that I know generally talk about these kinds of things that I'm not subscribed to, and I saw nothing. So I guess this video is not very coherent. I have 15 minutes to try to put a pattern together for you, and I don't know that I'm capable of doing it with a pattern that's this kind of complex, especially one that's not fully formed yet. But there are very close ties between the Obama White House and those in power in Spain. Very, very close ties. There are also very close ties between the AFL-CIO and various other unions in this country and the unions in Spain and other European socialist countries. There are a lot of connections here. And I find it strange that there would be kind of a big deal airline crisis generated in both of those countries now. Now, it hasn't completely backlashed in the United States as yet. And now the TSA chief is talking about, taking suggestions where, you might not have to get either a digital strip search or sexual assault before getting onto a plane. Although I think it's largely lip service to kind of calm people down while they just do what the hell they want. But we'll see how that turns out. I could be wrong. I just find it odd that these two countries that have been having very close talks about huge billion-dollar exchanges of green energy, the green energy that has basically bankrupted Spain. Spain is bankrupt right now because they put so much money into green energy, and all the green energy, of course, was unionized. So there's a scam in this whole green energy thing, and if you don't see it, I don't have time in this video to lay it out, but I think it's horseshit. And I think anybody who does just a little bit of reading about it, really looking at the characters involved in pushing it, I think is going to come away with the same or a similar opinion of it. So basically what I want this video, I guess, to be about is pay attention, because the government in Spain is not so far removed from the government in Washington. And the riots in Europe right now are the excuse. Basically, they threatened, they didn't actually deploy it, but they threatened martial law on some scale there. And if they're willing to threaten martial law in socialist Spain, how reluctant do you think this current administration, who has just basically had their legs cut out from under them in the last election and are scrambling to force some things through before the new Congress takes over, how reluctant are they going to be to pull that same card out and say, yeah, we're going to use martial law on you? Again, I don't know that this video makes any sense to anybody. I'll watch it before I upload it and see if it makes any sense to me, at least. And if it does, I'll upload it. And if it doesn't make any sense to you guys, please comment and let me know, and I'll try to make another video explaining my thoughts on this. Quick synopsis, I guess, would be there's so much wrong with what the hell is going on in Spain right now that anyone looking at it should be able to see this is the road we're on, and this is what has caused them. They've already collapsed economically. They're kind of propping it up with stilts, but basically they've collapsed already. They haven't done a full dunk yet like Greece has done, like Ireland. They haven't told the people we're going to steal your pension off of you like Hungary and Ireland have done yet. But that's coming there. And if it's going to happen there, how long is it going to be before our government says, you know what, we're going to take all your Roth IRAs, we're going to take all your 401ks, or you're out of the system. Look, give me that choice, man. I'll tell you, take a hike, because I didn't want to be in your little socialist program in the first place. You didn't give me a choice then. Of course, then there'd be a class action suit soon for all the money we've put in, but that's a whole different duck. But yeah, I don't think I really got my point across in this video. We'll see what it looks like, and if it sucks, I'll redo it, or I'll just forget about it. I don't know. Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.